It started as one of those weekends you plan without thinking anything could possibly go wrong. 4 of us, me, Lucas, Jenna, and Ryan, decided to drive out to this patch of forest near the Bay of Fundy. Ryan's uncle owned a bit of property out there, mostly used for hunting in the fall, but in the summer it was just empty land surrounded by miles of woods and a half-collapsed cabin. The perfect place, we thought, to camp, drink, and pretend that we knew how to survive in the wild. The drive took almost 4 hours from Moncton. As the road narrowed into dirt and gravel, the signal bars on our phones vanished one by one. By the time we reached the clearing, it was just us, the trees, and the wind that whispered through them like something alive. Ryan and Lucas started setting up the tents while Jenna and I unpacked the cooler. The air smelled like pine and damp earth, the kind of clean you don't get in the city. We had music playing from a Bluetooth speaker, the sun still hanging high, and everything felt normal, almost perfect. It wasn't until later that night, when the fire had burned low and the mosquitoes had started biting, that Jenna pulled a Ouija board from her bag. I laughed at first. "You're kidding, right?" "Out here," she grinned, holding up the box like a magician about to unveil her next trick. "Come on, it's just for fun." Ryan said this place used to have an old logging settlement nearby. Maybe we'll contact some lonely spirit who wants to tell us where they hid their gold. Ryan rolled his eyes, but there was that smirk that said he was up for it anyway. Lucas didn't say anything, just tossed another log on the fire and stared into the flames. The board looked old though, not store-bought. The letters were carved into the wood, not printed, and the planchette, that little heart-shaped piece, was chipped on one side. I asked where she got it. "Thrift shop," she said. "Downtown. Thought it'd be funny." I remember thinking it looked too personal to have come from a thrift store, like it had been made by someone for a reason. By 10 p.m, the firelight was flickering tall, and the woods beyond the clearing had gone black. You could only see the first line of trees before the dark swallowed everything else. It was quiet too. No crickets, no wind, just the occasional pop of sap in the fire. We sat cross-legged around the board, flashlights off. Jenna placed the planchette in the center and told us to each rest 2 fingers lightly on it. Ryan tried to break the tension. "Spirits of the forest," he said in a mock-serious tone. "If you can hear us, give us a sign." Nothing happened, of course. We laughed, took a sip of beer, and started again. But then Lucas frowned. "Wait, did you feel that?" The planchette had moved, just a fraction of an inch, but enough that I felt it tug against my fingers. Jenna giggled nervously. "Okay, who's doing that?" No one answered. The fire popped, sending a burst of sparks into the air, and in that moment I caught movement at the edge of the clearing, just beyond the light. A shadow maybe, or maybe my eyes adjusting to the dark. I remember feeling suddenly aware of how far we were from anyone else. No cell service, no roads close enough to walk to if something went wrong. Jenna whispered, "Let's keep going." So we did. The planchette started to move again, slow at first, like it was thinking, then smoother, gliding over the letters L-A-U-R. It stopped on the letter A and trembled there, the tip of the planchette vibrating slightly under our fingers. "Laura," Ryan said quietly, "is that your name?" The wind picked up then, sudden, sharp, rustling the trees so loud it drowned out the crackle of the fire. When it died down, we all looked at each other. No one laughed this time. And then Jenna's phone. which had been sitting on her lap with no signal for hours, lit up by itself. One single notification. New voice recording saved. For a few seconds, none of us moved. The little light from Jenna's phone was the only glow besides the fire, and it cast our faces in this pale, flickering orange that made everyone look a little older, a little scared. She unlocked her screen, frowning. "It says it saved the recording," she whispered. "But I didn't." Before she could finish, Ryan snatched the phone and hit play. The sound that came out wasn't anything clear, just a wash of static, faint at first, then something like breathing behind it, slow, deliberate, you could almost count it. Then, just before the noise cut off, a single whisper, "Here." It was so quiet I thought maybe we'd imagined it, but the look on everyone's faces told me they'd heard it too. "Probably interference," Lucas muttered, though his voice didn't sound convinced. We all glanced at the board again. The planchette hadn't moved since spelling Laura, but the air felt heavier now, like the night itself had shifted. The forest, so open earlier, seemed to press in around the clearing. Jenna swallowed hard. Should we ask her something? Ryan hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, just one more question." He leaned forward. "Laura, are you here with us right now?" The planchette sat still for a beat. Then, slow and steady, it slid toward yes. Every hair on my arms rose. It didn't jerk or twitch. It glided, smooth, like something invisible guiding our hands. "Okay," I said quickly, trying to laugh it off. "Cool trick. Who's pushing it?" No one spoke. Then Lucas whispered, "Look at the fire." The flames had gone strangely low, shrinking as if choked. Smoke curled sideways, not upward, even though there was no wind anymore. Ryan muttered, "We should stop." But Jenna shook her head, wide-eyed and pale. "Wait, just one more. Ask her what she wants." I didn't want to. I could feel something wrong. Not dangerous exactly, just wrong in the way an empty house feels when you're sure someone's still inside. Before I could object, Jenna asked it herself. "Laura, what do you want from us?" The planchette paused, then began to move again. S-O-M-E. It hesitated on the next letter. Ryan leaned closer. "Somewhat." A gust of cold air came out of nowhere, cutting through the clearing like a blade. The board jerked, sliding the planchette violently to O-N. Someone. Lucas stood up so fast the board flipped. "Nope, we're done. I'm not doing this anymore." He kicked the board away from the fire, but it only spun once and landed face up in the dirt. For a moment, we all just stood there, breathing hard, staring at the letters glinting in the firelight. Then, from deep in the woods, we heard it. A soft snap, like a branch breaking underfoot. Ryan turned toward the sound, shining his flashlight, but the beam hit nothing but trees. The light trembled slightly in his hand. "Probably an animal," I said, though my voice came out thinner than I wanted. Jenna crouched to pick up the board, whispering, "We should say goodbye. You're supposed to say goodbye." But before she could touch it, the planchette, lying a few inches away, moved on its own, just a tiny twitch, scraping across the dirt toward the board. That was when the flashlight flickered, once, twice, and died. The darkness that swallowed us wasn't normal dark. It was the kind that feels thick, almost physical. I could still see the glow of the fire, but everything beyond its edge looked wrong. Shapes that weren't there before, deeper shadows that seemed to shift when you tried to focus on them. And somewhere out there, maybe 10, 15 yards away, We all heard it at the same time. A woman's voice. Low. Hoarse. As if trying to remember how to speak. No one moved. We stared toward the dark where the voice had come from, our breath misting in the sudden cold. Jenna whispered, "Did you hear?" "Shh." Lucas raised a hand. "Don't talk." The voice came again, closer. It sounded wrong, like a recording played backward. Ryan smacked the flashlight until it blinked on. The beam cut across the trees. Nothing. Then we saw it. Not a figure, but a patch of darkness that didn't belong. It stood still while the trees swayed faintly around it. Jenna began to cry. We should have said goodbye. The planchette slid another inch toward the board. Maybe it was me, maybe all of us. But we ran. We left the fire, the tents, everything. Branches whipped our faces as we tore down the trail to the car in the clearing. Everything was silent. Ryan dropped the keys, cursed, then got the doors open. We piled in, slammed them shut. The interior lights flickered and died. The engine wouldn't start. The silence felt alive. Ryan muttered, "We just have to wait till morning." We didn't sleep. We sat there, fogging the windows, waiting for dawn. When light finally came, we went back. The fire was cold, the board still there, except it wasn't the same. The letters looked scorched. Beneath goodbye, 2 new letters were carved, M.E. We left it. The car started easily this time. After that, everything felt off. Doors creaked when no one was home. Ryan's dog barked at empty corners. I found recordings on my phone I didn't remember making, just static and faint breathing. So if you ever think about using a Ouija board, don't. Because if something answers, it doesn't always leave when you do.